doing today, Elder Gibbs?
I'm doing so good. How are you doing?
Sweet. I'm doing amazing. You know, I had a pretty good day of service. Just a good overall day.
That's fun. Where'd you serve today?
I served actually down at the Family Search Center in Layton. So I didn't actually serve there, but I was able to do some work of my own for my ancestors.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was a really good day. What about you? Where did you serve today?
I was at Desert Industries today. The
Oh,
DI.
that's sweet.
Pretty fun, you know, just work at the thrift store.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Get some cool items come through, and so it's a pretty fun day.
That's awesome. That's sweet. Well, I guess maybe they're wondering at home, what is a service mission? Like, how did we get started on this journey?
Yeah. This is a very long story.
Yeah, for me too.
So,
And it's very personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you've ever come home from a mission, you know. you go through some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to break some rules and talk about it all today.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. All right, Elder Gibbs. So how did it all start for you?
Yeah. So to be honest, before I started the service mission, I don't think I've ever even really heard of service missions. Like,
Dude.
I've heard of them a little bit, but like
Yeah.
I had no clue what they did.
Same.
And so when I first started my mission, you know, I was definitely never even thought of a service mission.
Yeah.
And I didn't start as a service missionary. I started as your normal proselyting missionary.
Yep.
And so, you know, I did what, you know, was worthy, and I went to my stake president, or I guess my bishop first, and did my papers, talked to my stake president, got all that. And I got my proselyting mission call. I got called to Nevada, Las Vegas.
Dude, no way, that's awesome. I'm actually from Las Vegas, so that's sweet.
I know, pretty
You're
cool.
my old stomping grounds.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
sick.
cool. He's actually from the West Mission.
Yeah.
You know, we won't hold it
Yeah.
against him.
Oh, you know Vegas. You know that's the better part. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but I got called to the Vegas mission, and I went to the MTC, and then flew out to Vegas.
That's
And
sick.
So that's how my mission started. And my
Mhm.
first area was actually not in Vegas. It was in Arizona, Kingman, Arizona.
Dude,
That was my first two
it's a
transfers.
good area.
I love Kingman so much. You're like,
Yeah.
as soon as I'm done with my service mission, I'm going right back and
Oh,
seeing
shoot.
so many people there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I loved Kingman so much. That's where I was trained. I was trio trained, which is like the best form of
Dumb.
training.
Yeah,
You
that's
get
a good.
two
That's a
trainers.
good way to. That's a
You
good.
get
You
two
learn
trainers.
so much more. Oh,
You learn so much more, and also like, you know, you're struggling with one trainer, and you just talk to the other trainer. you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Trios are the move.
Trios.
For real.
Oh, I love trios.
Yeah.
Trios are definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I was trio trained, and then I was followed up trio trained.
Oh.
So you know,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
So
super fun.
you were an expert after training. You were pretty much him.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's
Yep.
really cool.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So second I got out of training, I was in leadership, and
No way.
yeah, so pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
then,
really cool.
And then I got yoinked out of Arizona.
Yeah.
And I got in the great city of Las Vegas.
Yes, sir. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so that was just kind of how my mission started. How did your
Uh-huh.
mission start?
Ooh, so mine's kind of similar. I was originally called proselyting, so I went through the same steps that you did. I met with my bishop, met with my stake president, submitted those applications, and if you've ever submitted them, you know those are some hefty, long applications.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was an honor to be able to serve a proselyting mission in the first place, and I was originally called to the Argentina Resistencia mission.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
So if you don't know where that is, because a lot of people aren't familiar with the Argentine geography, it's basically the most north part of Argentina.
Oh, very cool.
And if you know where Paraguay is, it kind of wraps around Paraguay, and it has a big waterfall called Iguazu Falls in the
Ooh.
mission. It's pretty popular.
That's cool. You ever
Well
get to go?
known. I didn't.
Oh,
I
that would have
didn't.
been cool.
I know. So I actually went to the Mexico MTC when I started.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
I went
it
to,
was-
boring old pro.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The Mexico MTC is where it's at. El CCM. Oh, yep.
Ooh.
Yep. So it was good. It's kind of like California inside Mexico because it's just
Really?
all walled off. It's super cool.
Hmm.
If you ever get a chance to go to Mexico City, check it out. It's sick.
Just pop by the MTC.
Yeah.
Just pull up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, after that, after about 4 weeks in there learning Spanish, I went to Argentina, met my trainer, and he was a great guy, awesome guy. And we went to the area of San Spaña. So if you don't know where that is, it's okay. I didn't either. It's actually out in a place called Chaco, and basically it's the hottest part of the mission.
Let's go.
So yeah,
You're from that Vegas heat. You're used to it. You got that.
let me tell you, Argentina heat is built different because they got the humidity out there.
Yeah. Vegas is that straight dry.
I can get along with that all day, but
that humidity comes in.
Oh, killer.
Game over.
Killer. So yeah, I was out there, and it would be like 95 degrees and like 80% humidity.
Ooh,
but you know, it was still good. I loved it. It was a good time out there, and I unfortunately was only there for 2.5 months, and then I ended up coming home to Las Vegas. So, what about you? How long were you in Las Vegas for?
I was in Las Vegas for 6.5 months.
Okay, that's a good chunk of time.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Good chunk of time where you know, by the time that those of you who serve missions, know when you're 6 months out, you kind of know how everything works.
Yeah.
You kind of got the flow of things.
Yeah.
And so I served for 6.5 months.
Yeah.
For you, Elder Walker, what led you to want to return home to Las Vegas?
You know, it's an interesting story, and it's not one that I share very often, but. I don't think it was a want to come home. I didn't want to come home, as I think most missionaries who come home early.
Yeah, I don't think I
don't,
think like 99% of missionaries, they really don't want to come home.
No, yeah. Like if you have that desire to serve, you're gonna want to serve for those 2 years wherever you're called to, because like that's where you're called and that's where you want to be.
Yeah,
and it's the same for me, and probably the same for you.
Yeah, and we just want to preface this with like the decision to return home is like such a hard decision for any missionary.
Yeah.
Like you said, when you have that desire to serve, coming home is really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like never judge anybody on that at all. Like it's a hard decision, and just know that they're trying to make what decision they think is best for them.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even up to them. That's what happened with me. It was a lot of it was out of my hands. I ended up getting out there, and I had some crazy experience that I basically thought I was almost gonna die.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got some mad PTSD from that now.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I'm doing better. I'm doing good. I've learned how to cope with it.
That's good.
But yeah, so the main thing that ended up sending me home was I didn't sleep for close to I would say about 30-40 days.
Wow.
So it got to the point where I didn't even know when I was asleep or awake at night. Yeah. So it was rough.
That's crazy.
And those of you who know the missionary schedule, it's a pretty grueling. You're busy pretty much all day.
And if you're not sleeping, that just makes like your hard schedule just so much work.
Yeah. So I was barely functioning. I had met with some psychiatrists and some doctors, and they ended up prescribing me some sleeping medication to hopefully help me sleep. And then I started taking that, and then about 3 days later, I ended up getting a call from the mission president, and him and his wife were so great. They were so supportive through this whole thing.
That's awesome.
But I ended up getting a call from them, and they had talked to I don't know if it's a medical team that works with the mission department or whatnot, but something like that. And the medication I was taking was actually on a red list of medication that you're not allowed to take when you're out proselyting.
Wow.
So the next day I was on a plane home to Las Vegas. So it all happened really quick, and I wasn't sure what was going on for the most part, but I was just along for the ride basically. I was like, whatever they come to the decision, whatever happens, I'm just gonna go along with it. So yeah, that's kind of what happened with me. What about you?
Thank you for sharing, Elder Walker.
Yeah, of course. I think it's super good for people to be open and honest, so people don't feel like this is something that's weird or not normal. Like people have mental health struggles and physical health struggles that they have to come home for all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. What about you, Elder Gibbs? How did
you
end up making the decision to come home?
I thought everything was going good. I absolutely love my trainers, got all the training, and I was like even the thought of going home would have never crossed my mind ever.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like a lot of people think it's homesickness that brings people home.
Yeah.
And I wasn't homesick in the slightest.
No,
I don't know about you.
Yeah, when you're once you get past training and you're out there, you're not really homesick.
No, you're just so excited to do what you're doing.
Yeah, of course, and it's such an awesome experience where you just get to be in that every day, like just full time. That's all you think about.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to think about like any of the worries about anything.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I thought I had it all under control. You know, my old trainer, he became the AP, and so.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, that's assistant to the president, and it's basically like the top dog. So he was a good missionary, good trainer for sure.
Yes, amazing missionary, and he taught me so much. And so he's the AP, and so we got to talk to him a lot. And so I was like, oh, this could be so great. Elderborg is the AP. I can make fun of him for being the AP.
Yep.
And the way it works in Vegas, they spend a lot of time in the office, which because of we have service missionaries here, the APs don't have to spend as much longer in the office, which is really awesome for them because it allows them to go out and teach more. But our missionaries, we have a lot of people who worked in the mission office, so they were in the mission office a lot. And so we'd always make fun of the APs for being the office missionaries. And even on we had a transfer board, which for those who don't know is just like where every single missionary's at. And then we like gave them their own little separate thing at the bottom that said office missionaries with the AP's picture.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
Which is super funny.
Yeah.
And so I was just doing my thing, living life. Yep. And I just really didn't have any concerns. And then I got I went to a new area with a new companion.
Oh yeah.
And very tough companion for me.
Oh.
Like, it was such a struggle with this companion, and then we were also in an area that was super struggling.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lot of pressure, and I had just felt so much pressure, because before going to this area, my mission president had let me know that this was kind of a harder area, but he felt like I could lift this area.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had that expectation, and so far my mission, like, I hadn't had problem finding people, teaching people, baptizing people. Like, you know,
it all came pretty naturally.
Yeah, it all just happened. It just seemed like the Lord blessed us so much.
Yeah.
We get in this area and it's like we can't find people.
Oh.
And we're supposed to be in this area where we're supposed to be finding people.
Yeah.
And then the mission set an expectation that we should be finding 7 people a week.
Oh.
And so it's like, oh, we gotta find somebody every day, and we're like trying to find people, and then some of our finds, because we're just trying to get the numbers, we're just chasing the numbers. So some of our finds really aren't great.
Yeah.
People who really aren't interested.
And for those of you who don't know, basically the purpose of a cross-sighting missionary is to find new people and teach them about the gospel. And when you're not doing that, and it's hard to do that in some areas, it can really be a hard time for missionaries.
It can be a super hard time because you feel like your whole purpose is to go out there and find those people and teach them.
Yeah.
And so when you're not being able to find those people, it's like you feel like a failure. You're like
am I really supposed to be doing this?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. And then for any of you who have had a companion that's been a hard companion, you know how hard that is.
Yeah.
Because there's about no other time in your life where you spend 24/7 with somebody. Like, even when you get married, you go to work, you go to other things. You're not even with them all the time with your companion.
Yep.
You're with them every minute of every day.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right? You're just always with them. And so when you have good companions, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You're just like like you're with your best friend just all the time. And you just have a blast.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then you get a rough companion, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is like so awful. And so it just put a lot of stress on me. And so I was like, it's fine. I'll just trudge through this and get through the other side. But it was just more like it just kept getting harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like kind of think of it like a reservoir, right? And eventually the dam just kind of broke.
Yeah.
And so a little personal, but a lot of my family, they struggle with depression, anxiety, just a lot of mental health problems.
Yeah.
Thankfully, before this, I really hadn't had anything like that. But like all these different stressors, it just kind of caused this dam to break, and just everything just came out, and I just got so depressed, like so down. Yeah. And like it was really scary at the time because I had never had this happen to me. Yeah. And like my mission had been going so great. I'd been so happy just to serve the Lord. And now like I get up, like nothing could make me happy. Yeah. Yeah. Like I was just
that's how it is, especially when you're in that mindset, and when you're coming home. It was the same way for me when I came home. I was like, I had never had any problems with mental health before. Yeah. But after, I was just like, I don't know what's happening to me. I'm just not finding enjoyment in anything I'm doing. Yeah. And it was hard. It was hard to like even get up in the mornings.
Oh my gosh, I can't even.
Yeah. It's like when you're not finding enjoyment in life, it's a dark place to be in.
It is. And for those who have never struggled with depression, it's not as easy as just smile. Just be happy. And when I'd go out and I'd talk to people, I'd put a fake smile on. And,
that's kind of the worst way to do it too.
Yeah. See, like I'm in such a better place now, and I have the opportunity to still do some teaching in the teaching area.
That's really cool.
And now that I'm in a great place, I just love to teach the gospel. Yeah. Like I'm so genuinely happy about it.
Yeah.
Like that happiness was just gone back then.
Because the gospel does bring you joy.
So much joy.
Yeah. When I first came home, I was like, I don't know like what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, is this church even true? Like I didn't even know. Like I had no clue what I was doing because I struggled with anxiety and the PTSD included in that. So I was just worrying about things that weren't even logical, because that's what it is. Just worrying about stuff that's never going to happen in your lifetime. And yeah,
For sure.
so when you were in that dark place, what kind of helped pull you out of that? Because personally for me, it was the service mission. But for you, what was that thing that kind of pulled you out of that rut?
Yeah, so I was in that rut, and it just would get worse. I was just talking to my mission president. We're like, you know what, maybe it'd be best if I went home for a little bit. And the plan was to just go home for a little bit, maybe get on medication, or maybe see some counseling, get it figured out.
Yeah.
And then the plan was to return back.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the plan. I got home, ended up getting on some medication, and tried to figure that out, and went to counseling, and did all that good stuff. I talked with my stake president, and they're like, well, you can't really go back.
Yeah.
And that was honestly devastating for me.
Yeah.
Like, I had never considered it as a possibility that I wasn't going to go back and finish my mission. And so, like, I pulled myself out of this dark place, and then I just went,
yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what I'm even supposed to do. Just like you're saying, like, it's such a hard thing for something as joyous as the gospel and serving a mission. When something bad like that happens, you're like, you start questioning everything.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't even know what to do at this point. And then my stake president, he was like, I want you to meet somebody.
That's how it always goes.
This is how they get you. Be careful. This is how they get you. And he wanted me to go meet with President Johnson, who is the mission president of the Layton, Utah mission. And I went and I met with President Johnson, and he started talking to me about something called the integration program. For those of you who follow church news, this was just announced worldwide.
It's
so
going
exciting.
Everywhere.
Let's
go global.
It's so awesome. And this is what really sold me on a service mission. Just like talk about different service sites, I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess I could go to like the Bishop's Storehouse and do my thing. But like I wasn't really like sold on it. So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll think about it. And then he started talking about the integration program, where the service missionary and the proselyte missionaries integrated together.
One mission, like, one president.
So awesome. He was talking about like all the different proselyting opportunities. And like all this other stuff, and that is what sold me. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to do this. I told him right then, I'm like, yes. And then we called my stake president, and he reset me apart as a missionary.
So you got released when you came home. Okay, so did I. And most, the standard procedure nowadays is you don't get released, you just go straight to the service mission. It was
not that streamlined when I came home. But so I'd been released as a missionary for a couple of weeks, and that's a weird feeling.
Because you're like, I'm a person, but I'm still feeling like a missionary.
It's so weird.
It's a weird phase. You're like, what am I even supposed to be doing right now?
It is so weird. So like when I went, I met him at the mission office to go talk to him. And he was doing some interviews then, so there were a lot of people there. And like I didn't even know like how to introduce myself. For the past 6 months, I've been saying, my name's Elder Gibbs. And I'm like, my name's Brother Gibbs.
I was like, oh. My whole identity is gone. What am I doing here?
I was like, I don't even know for sure. But I talked to President Johnson. He told me that, and then talked to my stake president. I got reset apart and started touring different service sites.
That's sweet. That's so cool.
Just like you, that the service mission really helped me get out of that dark place.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so for me, I had come home, got released just like you did, and I was doing nothing for like 2 to 3 weeks, and like my parents were like, "What do we even do with it?"
Yes, I feel that.
We don't even know what he's supposed to be doing. He doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. We're all just like sitting there like, is life just gonna end soon? Like, what am I doing here? so then I ended up, I think my stake president ended up calling me and was like, "Hey, there's this thing called a service mission." And this was in Las Vegas, and it's not integrated down there, so
soon to be.
It's soon to be. They're not there yet, but they're doing good. So he ended up talking to me about a service mission, and then had me meet the service mission leader down there, because down there the stake president is technically your mission president, and then
the old service missionary program.
So they have service mission leaders. So I ended up meeting with him. His name is Elder Hodson. Amazing guy, fantastic. He ended up picking me up and was like, "Elder Walker, you look like you need to get out of the house." And I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Give me something to do. I just am so like lost. I don't know what to do. So he ended up taking me on a tour of the different service sites, and I was like, this is really cool. Like, this is what you guys do as missionaries? And he's like, yep, this is what we do. And I'm like, because I had never heard of the service mission program.
Yeah, me neither.
I had no idea what it was.
Clue. Yeah.
And then I found out, I'm like, this thing is awesome. Like, it was so cool. And so I started that, and I started doing that for, it was probably 4 months into that down there in Vegas.
Okay.
And just like you, I always had the thought, like, I'm going to go out proselyting. Like, the service mission is temporary.
That's literally,
Yeah.
that was, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Like, this is good. I'm still on my mission doing that time, but I'm going to return to what I was called to do.
Yeah, I feel exactly like
so I ended up meeting with family services from the church and met with my stake president. He like saw that I was doing good, back to like better than I was doing before I left. And he was like, I feel really good. I feel strongly, like I knew going into it, I wasn't going to go back to Argentina.
Yeah, but you think
I
like
was going to go stateside
yeah.
somewhere. So I was excited because I have some friends serving stateside. So I was like, dude, what if we're on the same mission? That would be
that'd
sweet.
Be cool.
So ended up doing that. He submitted his application, or his basically application for me to go back out. And then I met with family services. And the day I met with family services was when the church basically drew a harder line of going back out after you've come home once. So for those of you who've tried, or for those of you who kind of know, it is now so hard to go back out.
It's basically impossible.
It's impossible. It's your original assignment.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody do it personally.
I don't think I've seen anybody do it. Yeah, I've tried it.
Yeah,
you've tried it.
I've tried it. It didn't work.
It doesn't end up.
So
working.
I was like, well, it kind of, like you said, it kind of set you back again to like, well, this is what I've been working towards. What am I gonna do now?
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like,
the service mission was gonna be like a temporary.
Yeah, it's like, especially the one in Las Vegas, we'd serve from like 8 to 12, and then I'd have nothing to do for the rest of the day. So I'm like, I just saw this to keep me busy until I could go back out proselyting. So I was like, dang, I'm doing so good. I need something that's just gonna keep me doing good, keep me on this path. So then I had heard about the Layton, Utah mission and the integration
best mission
program.
in the world.
Really is.
Awesome.
We're doing things here. Let me tell you.
Always.
So I heard about that, and I actually have a great aunt and uncle who live in Farmington, and they said that I could move in with them. So about, it was 6 months, about 6 months after I had come home, I moved up here to Utah. So it was back in May, and let me tell you, the Las Vegas mission was great, but moving here, it's like, it is something else. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like going from like a little tiny apartment, one bathroom, one bedroom, to like this freaking mansion. You guys are doing incredible things here. Like, it was crazy to do, and that just really, like, realizing that this is what I'm gonna now do for the next year of my life.
Yeah.
It just really like made me want to hit the ground running, and I've been doing so good here.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm so grateful for the opportunities I have here.
That's awesome. And to be
It's
honest,
really cool.
It's really taken me until actually pretty recently to be fulfilled in my service mission.
Dude, same.
It took me a while, and
Same.
I worked with President Johnson, our mission president, and I was going to go back full proselyting in this mission.
Yeah.
And that was my plan. I was like, well, I'm just going to work towards that, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And so I had filled in for a transfer out in Clinton West.
Cool.
Shout out to Elder Holdaway. I know you'll be watching this.
Yes, sir.
So I went out there. So his companion, like so many crazy things on this mission. So his companion, it was from Texas, and then he was doing an in-field service mission.
Oh, cool.
So he had switched and done that, and so he had a couple companions, and they lived in missionary housing, they had a missionary car, but they just go to service sites.
That's cool. Yeah.
And so, but his companion got approved to do that, and so Elder Holdaway didn't have a companion.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was like, and I'm pretty new to the mission. It was like my second district council ever.
Mm-hmm.
When President Johnson comes up to me, they asked me, "What are your service sites?" And I was just telling them, and he was like, "Okay, well, how would you like to go proselyting for this transfer?"
Yeah. When you hear that, you're like, "Oh yeah, this is what I've been dreaming of."
Yes, I was like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I did that, and it was very hard.
Yep.
A lot harder than I was thinking.
Yup.
Because I was like, I kind of like brushed off, what happened at the end of Vegas.
You're like, this isn't gonna happen again. Like, I'm doing good now.
I'm doing good.
This is Utah. Like, there's nothing to be worried about.
And I did, and I struggled a lot, but I made it through the transfer.
That's good.
I learned a lot. I just have some very fun memories.
Yeah.
At that time, we were in a 4-elder apartment, which is always fun.
Yeah.
With the Spanish elders. Shout out to Black Elder Lee.
Yeah.
But
that's
sick. Super. It was a hard experience getting back into that full process.
Yeah, because it's a different schedule and routine.
So,
like,
different and big thing, of course, that you don't see your family. Like,
True.
Like I just live at home with my family, so I see my family every day.
Yeah.
And that's such a blessing for me.
Yeah.
So I went out there, but I did it. I got through the transfer, and I was like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
then I think I could do this. I think
Yeah,
I could
for
do a
sure.
full process. I made it through
Yeah.
a transfer.
Yeah.
You know, did I kind of trudge through it? Yeah, but
Yeah.
I got there.
But you know, I made it.
I made it.
I'm
That's
good.
all that matters. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm 100%.
Am I doing good mentally? No, nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know.
I was like, President, might as well just put me on the transfer board.
Exactly.
I was like, And so I did that, and I returned home after that, just back to my service sites and stuff. I was like, okay, my service sites, like, I'd go there, but I wasn't like 100% all in my service sites because I was like, well, this is just kind of a waiting time for me.
Yeah.
I figured it was not if, but when for me to go back full pros.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like, it's just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So before that, I got an opportunity to do a little bit in the TSM program, which is still going on right now, and we're both a part of.
Yep.
And for those that don't know, that stands for Teaching Service Missionary.
Yeah.
And so it gives service missionaries the opportunity to meet up with other service missionaries after their service sites are over, and they have their companions, and they have an area, and they just get to go out and teach.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And we're actually both going out tonight after this.
Yep,
so.
we will.
And so I got to do that, and I did that for a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
It was over the Farmington North Stake, which is your home stake.
Yep, that's my home stake.
Yep, and so I got to do that, and then right after that, my next interview with the president, he was talking, and he was like, do you want to do more processing? I was like,
yeah, I'm good. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I can do it.
Say less. I can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so President Johnson was like, okay, we'll send in a thing, and we can get you full price. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm full pros now.
I'm full price. Yeah, so I was going.
Pause. I kind of like the service mission.
Yeah, I was like, ooh. I'm thinking about it. The service mission thing's kind of a nice thing, you know?
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, and I got like so anxious because I wasn't sure. They weren't sure if I was going to get approved before. It was like right near transfers.
Yeah.
So they didn't know if I was going to be approved this transfer or the transfer after. So I'm like stressing. I'm like, I either have like 3 days or I have like 6 months.
Yeah.
Or not
6
weeks.
Yeah,
6 weeks. And so I was like, if it's 6 weeks, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If it's 3 days, I don't know about this.
I need to go. Frig.
And then, I got a call from President West, and he was like, yep.
You got approved.
You got approved.
Yes, sir.
This is something that I felt that I wanted for so long, and then my stomach just kind of dropped, and I was like,
yeah.
Is this something I really want?
Is this what I really want to do?
And then I got called to speak a language, too.
Oh, that's hard.
I'm halfway through my mission, so I've been out 13, almost 14 months now. And so I was like, President,
what am I going to be doing? Yeah.
And it was, many of you probably have never even heard of this language. I have never heard of this language
what
before.
language were you speaking?
It was Marshallese.
Marshallese.
Which comes from the Marshall Islands.
Okay. Is there Marshallese speakers here in Utah?
There is a Marshallese branch in Bountiful.
Oh, cool.
And
Dang,
so
that's sweet.
And then we're also over a Chukis branch up in Clearfield.
Oh, I have heard of Chukis.
Yep. So Marshalls and Chukis, and so I was super stressing.
Yeah.
I got a little language.
Oh.
Originally when I got called to my pros mission, those who know when you fill out your papers, you can choose what scale of language you want to do. And I was like, I'll put a 2. I don't really want to learn a language. I'd rather, because that's just a whole nother element that I'm sure you know.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it makes it even harder in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, now I gotta learn a language. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then the first, I figured out in a couple of days, and I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. The morning of, it hit me. I was like, oh no. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
And my dad just dropped me off at the mission office, and I'm like,
take me back.
I'm like, don't leave me here, Dad. Don't leave me here. I regret every decision I've ever made in my life right now. Oh my gosh, but you go. And then I was in a quad.
Oh,
That's a first for me.
Yeah.
So 3 companions.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And so they picked me up at the mission office, and we went to our apartment, and then we actually had to move apartments and a bunch of stuff. So the first day was even crazier. On top of being mega stressed out. And then, and so I did that Marshallese thing, and I was there not that long.
Yeah.
And,
I
I gave it my best. I tried. I really tried to get it through, and then I was just talking President Johnson, and then we ended up meeting, and something that he told me, which is something that I wish I had heard earlier, was that it really doesn't matter if you're on a pros mission or a service mission. It's really about what's best for you.
Yeah. And it's at the end of the day, it's truly about your desire to serve. It doesn't matter where or what you're doing.
That's the most important.
But as long as you're willing and wanting to serve, that's what matters the most.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever felt this, but I've definitely felt some pressure to go back proselyting.
Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily as much pressure anymore, because I've kind of come to terms with, like, the service mission is just as good of a service to the Lord. Like, he accepts your offering just as much as if you were proselyting or service. And something, like, it's been recent for me to come to terms with, like, I'm a service missionary now. Like, this is what I'm doing, like, and taking pride in this is what I'm doing. And it wasn't until I had some experiences one night, and I was like, you know, this is what I was called to do. God didn't call me to Argentina. Well, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did call.
He definitely did.
He did call me. He did call me. He called me to Argentina, but it's not like he didn't see this happening.
Yeah.
Like, he called me
God
to Argentina
knows
so I could go back to Las Vegas, so I could eventually come here. And the experiences I'm having now, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I know this now. Like, this was always supposed to be the plan. Honestly, it would have been easier to just do this from the beginning, but then I wouldn't have all this growth along the way. So it's been so cool.
I've grown so much, and like the most important part of our mission is about our conversion.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
The Lord knows what's best for us.
Yeah.
But just like you, it took me recently, so I returned back from full pros back to service.
Yeah.
That was another kind of hard transition back.
I bet, yeah.
And then I was like, I'm doing no more proselyting, because before I was going out with proselyting elders in the evening. I had a TSM assignment.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of proselyting on the service, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing any more proselyting on my mission.
Yeah.
Like, I've done my fair share.
Yeah.
And then, so I just started going back to my service sites. And then I just get a text from President West. He's like, I heard you wanted to do a YSA TSM assignment. I was like, who'd you hear that from?
Who said that?
Are you sure?
Who be saying my name? Yeah.
And so I was like, no, I never really had a desire. He's like, well, President Johnson's taking the transfer board right now. Do you want to do it? So I was like, well, I feel bad, like, saying no.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of felt like guilty. And I was like, I'll just say yes.
Yeah.
And it has been such a big blessing for me.
It's been so cool.
This TSM assignment has been super awesome.
Yeah.
So my companion Elder Mayor, I gotta go with him actually pretty soon. But my companion Elder Mayor and I, we are over the Millstream and North Canton YSA wards in Bountiful.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome. We love our wards. We love the people we're teaching.
Yeah. It's something so cool. Like, just being around other people, and it's really cool for us because they're all around our age too. So we're kind of more just like friends. We're not like we're not
all the YSA
like,
people.
Yeah, we're just all trying to help each other come closer to Christ.
Literally, and we're like, let's just have a good time. Let's go with activities.
So cool.
I just love to be in the YSA.
And I feel like it's not as stressful either. Like, because our main assignment as service missionaries is to serve.
Yeah.
So we still do that like throughout the day. I do it from 8 to 4. And then at night, when I have that free time, I'm able to teach too, and keep myself busy enough. And it's a good thing to be doing, because teaching people and talking to people and getting to know people is just awesome.
Yeah,
it's a really cool way to show our kind of Christ-like love for others and kind of our love for the gospel. Yeah. It's been really cool.
Like you said though, that our service sites are still our main focus.
Yeah,
which I like, because I'm not as stressed out about my proselyting area. And I see it more of like a fun thing. Like, I get to go out and teach people now. It's like a fun thing I can do.
Like, if I don't do it one night, I'm not like, frick, I really messed up. I feel so bad. Like, that ward is going to suffer now. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm getting to do this on the side, and this is so much fun. Like, teaching people is awesome.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. It's really cool. Well, that's sweet. Well, would you like to like kind of finalize things here or kind of wrap things up? Like, I don't know about your testimony, but like, what does a service mission and your mission experience in general mean to you?
Honestly, it means everything to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so much more converted. My testimony is so much stronger because of the way my mission's been and the things I've experienced. My mission is not how I foresaw it going.
Yeah.
But it's what the Lord needed for me.
Yeah.
It's how I've been able to grow and become stronger as a person. My conversion, so much more converted to the Lord.
For sure.
Like, I thought I was pretty converted when I started my mission. I look back, I'm like, now I just love the gospel so much.
Yeah.
I love my Savior, Jesus Christ. I love talking about Jesus Christ. And my service mission is just awesome. And I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity, even though I came home to still serve. Because I know back in the day, if you came home, That was it.
That's it. You had your chance, and now you're done.
And so with this service mission and this awesome program, the integration program, there's so many awesome opportunities to just serve. And that's what it's all about, is serving the Lord and become converted.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's the same for me. Like, this is not what I expected my mission to be. I thought I would be in Argentina for 2 years, be fluent speaking Spanish. But I've loved it. I wouldn't want my mission to be any other way. Like, it's just been the greatest blessing to me, even though I've had some of my hardest times throughout my mission. It's really brought me so much closer to my Savior. And I just have so much more empathy for, like, everybody.
Definitely.
It's so crazy. But yeah, that's basically our story and what we're doing now with our lives. So yeah, if you guys had any questions about anything we've talked about, please comment them down below.
Yeah, or there are any questions about service missions or anything about the Utah Layton mission, let us know. And thank you for everybody who made it this far in the video.
Yeah, we'll keep putting these out. Leave a comment if you want to see anything in future videos, and we'll look at them.
Give us some suggestions. We'll definitely read through them.
Yeah, sweet. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Okay, peace.